Today on Eagle News, Georgia Governor Brian Kemp has allowed many businesses to reopen already as soon as Friday. As the COVID-19 virus has continued to affect the nation, elderly people have suffered the most, as 9% of people over the age of 70 have died once contracting the virus. Reporter Ashton Christensen speaks with Sue Jones on her experience as an elderly woman during this time. As public schools have remained closed, reporter Xavier Branch speaks with a Gwinnett County front office employee on how schools have been operating since their closure. Also, people have been trying ways to stay active on Gentilly Road. I went there to see how people have been trying to stay healthy during this pandemic. Lastly, all Georgia Southern students received a refund since the closure of campus during the middle of the spring semester. Reporter Noah Lambert explains how students feel about this refund plan. Welcome to Eagle News. Next, we have reporter Ashton Christensen explaining how difficult it is to be an elderly person living through this COVID-19 pandemic.
Life has changed for everyone, even people like my grandmother, Sue Jones.
Well, it's a lot different because I don't get to see my friends. We don't get to go to church anymore, so it's different sitting at home all the time.
Even though the house is filled with her daughter and grandchildren, there are some challenges to living with a multi-family house.
Because we've got 3 different generations in the house, so there's a lot of difference in how we all think, and so I think that's the biggest thing is we've got 3 different sets of opinions here on what's right. So other than that, I enjoy having my family around, but we do get on one another's nerves after a while, so we have to spread out and stay apart for a while.
Going to the store now is even a different occasion.
I'm more aware of people around me and what they're doing and of where my hands are, and I try to be more careful about keeping my hands away from my face, but I'm also careful about wearing gloves and now even masks when I go out, so I'm just more aware of that, and I try to stay my distance away from people.
With people wanting to get out and back to their old lives, there's a lot of talk of ending shelter-in-place orders in many different states.
I'm a little bit hesitant about the states reopening so fast because I do believe it's going to make the virus spread even faster again. And I kind of wish they would hold off at least another month.
For now, people are trying to create a new norm during this time. I'm Ashton Christensen reporting for Eagle News.
Thank you, Ashton, for that update on your family and how anyone should go about looking after the older people in their life. Now, reporter Tori Pierce gives his take on the reopening of many businesses here in Georgia on Friday, April 24th.
Hey, how you doing? What is your name?
Hey, I'm fine. My name is Miss Sabrina. I really don't think it's fair to have to choose between paying the bills and staying healthy. I think the government should be doing more. to help the people so they don't have to make the choice of being healthy or putting food on the table. I just think that's a very unfortunate and unfair choice that some of us are having to make.
Next question. How do you feel about them opening up the state back again on Friday?
I think it's very, very dangerous, especially with, from what I can tell, the testing capacity is not very good. So I think it's very dangerous. I personally won't be doing anything that's not essential. So, good luck.
All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Despite speculation that the cases could still rise, people in Georgia will now have the freedom again to go in some of these businesses that have been closed for the past couple of weeks. As schools continue to stay closed during this time, reporter Xavier Branch spoke with a front office employee for a Gwinnett County elementary school about how the school system has been dealing with this pandemic.
As this being the final week of Georgia's shelter-in-place order, people have questioned just when schools might reopen to the public again. All teachers have been sent home until the fall semester at least, as all on-campus activities, including summer school, have moved online. Students have continued with their day-to-day learning experience through online tools and resources that the school system has provided for each of their teachers. Employees who work for the school system but do not have a classroom have been required to meet during Zoom calls and complete online digital learning assignments for continuing education as well. I spoke to a front office employee at one of Gwinnett County's elementary schools, Farm Branch, to see who has been running the building during this time.
Only physical building are the principal, the bookkeeper, the administrative assistant, and the head custodian. They are still having to go and work every single day. That started on March 19th.
She's trying to stay optimistic for everybody at this time. So I also got her opinion on when school might have the possibility of reopening again.
As for school for next year, they are saying that there is going to be a second outbreak of this pandemic. So who knows if we will actually go back to school in the fall. I know this summer all of the schools are doing summer school online. So at this point, it really is very hard to say when things might go back to the normal that we all are accustomed to.
This has been a new and difficult experience for many people in their lifetime. With the reopening of many businesses this week, Georgia seems to be attempting to get back to some sort of normal. I'm Xavier Branch, Eagle News.
As these schools stay closed for at least the summer, kids will have to wait until the fall to possibly have a chance at returning to school. As people attempt to stay active and fit, I went over to Gentilly Trail to see how people are getting their exercise during this time.
Since the pandemic began, there's been only a few reasons why people are allowed to leave their homes. Physical activity. At Gentilly Trail in Statesboro, Georgia, people are using their nature trail as much as possible just to try and get out of the house.
I try to get outside as much as I can and, just try to do as much in-home workouts as I can to just try to stay healthy and stay active.
With the recent statements from Governor Brian Kemp, we will start moving in a more normal way of living. Barbershops will start opening and other various places, bowling alleys and movie theaters. But schools are still closed indefinitely and some students are still struggling with the environment.
It's definitely been a struggle. I mean, I'm an in-person type of learner, so to go online, it's definitely hard. And to keep everything straight with different classes, it's also hard. But, you got to do what you have to do. I mean, there's not really anything else we can do at this point, so.
Hello everyone, Noah Lambert here with Eagle News. Many Georgia Southern students are receiving refunds from the school for the first time. The problem? The numbers don't seem to add up. Since the date of January 13th, which was the start of the semester, many students have done the calculations to realize that we've been in school for about 40% of the semester. The refunds we're getting, on average, they seem to be about 10 to 15%. Georgia Southern University sent out an email to all students giving the numbers that they would be stating for the refunds. Most of these refunds only ended up being about 10 or 15% versus the 40% that many students were expecting. While things like housing got the estimated refund of 44%, parking and transportation, a $160 fee, got a measly $25 refund. RAC student activity fees were around $10 per student. Certain things like transportation were refunded at almost the full amount, but for most students, refunds were much smaller than expected. The problem with this is that this is a trying time for a lot of students. What does this mean for students that can't make rent or can hardly put food on the table right now? Where's this money gone? The school has stated they're just doing what the University System of Georgia has told them to do. But where is all this money going? If we do the math for what all these students are doing, you're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars that are going into someone's pocket. Whose pocket? I couldn't tell you. I know that many students, like myself, are wondering where our money has gone. I know that for me, I'm just trying to help make rent and things like that, And it's really difficult to know that I spent $160 on a parking pass and wasn't able to use it. And I'm really curious to know where those funds have gone. And I hope that as time passes, the University System of Georgia and Georgia Southern will make this right.
That is all we have for today, and tune in next week at 1:30 to stay up to date with our team and how things are going through this pandemic.